Today we are going to take all of the good stuff that we got out of your brain yesterday and put it all into a sales letter that hopefully kicks some butt for you the very first time you write it up. So let's get right into it. To get started, I'd like to show you guys the formula that I've successfully used to sell a lot of products and services. And it's a structured formula. It's got 18 pieces, and it's a guideline. You know, the formula works. It's been proven. But you know, as we go through it, you might find that some of your ideas for the sales letter would fit better in other places in mine. That's fine. Feel free to, you know, adjust this formula, play around with it, and most importantly, test out different combinations of what we talk about. So let's get to the formula itself. Here are the 18 pieces that make up a great sales letter. But right now I just wanted to list them for you. And then what we're going to do is break down each one individually, talk a little bit more about it, and talk about how it relates to what we did yesterday in pulling all of that great info out of your mind. So here they are. Piece number one is your benefit-driven headline. Number two is your subhead. Number three, we're going to ask questions so you understand prospect and push on those buttons. Number four, we're going to hit them with a powerful analogy and a story, captivate them. Number five, we're going to tell them that there is hope. We have the solution for them. Part six, we're going to give away some juicy content, like we talked about. Part number seven is your proof. Number eight, you're going to tell them about what your product is, what's in it. Number nine is going to be your section with your bullets, one of my favorite sections of any sales letter. Number 10, we're going to talk about who needs your product, who doesn't. Number 11, we're going to talk about what makes your product different from everything else out there. And we're going to wrap everything up, hit them with the price, hit them with a strong guarantee. Your close is part 15, 16, signature. 17 is your PS, and 18 is actually where you're going to put your testimonials. So, now that we have the overview, let's roll through it. So, first of all, I wanted to give you guys an example of a sales letter where we use this formula pretty closely. Sales letter has done very well for us, and you know, you can study and kind of see where these pieces fall into place and how we use them as an example, you know, that you guys can reference when you're writing your own sales letters. So that sales letter is for a product called Deep Inner Game, which we sell through the Double Your Dating business, and it's a product that helps guys boost their confidence with women. So let me see if I can pull it up right here and take a look-see together. All right, here we go. So here's our Deep Inner Game sales letter. And just kind of do like a scan through it right now. We're just going to go really quick just so you can see the basic layout. I'm sure you guys have all seen a sales letter before, but just so we're kind of on the same page, you know, we've got the headline right in here. Here's the subhead. Start off. Here you can see we're asking some questions of the prospect. Here's some stories. Here's some of that content we're giving away. I'm just going through this really quickly. We'll break this stuff down a little bit more and see how it all kind of pieces together. Here's another story. Just kind of we're telling them how the product came about, which is giving some proof. And then we're getting into some bullets. More bullets. The section where we talk about how to tell if the program's for you, who it's for, who needs it, who doesn't. And Get some more content. There's a wrap-up where we talk about the price, what they get, guarantee, close right here, signature, PS, and testimonials. And that'll be a good example for you. So now let's talk about how that sales letter came about. First of all, the most important part of any sales letter is your headline. If people don't see your headline and turn away, they're not going to read the rest of your page. So it's what sinks them in, what grabs their attention, and that's what it's all about. So something you want to remember in your headline is you want to hit them with the biggest benefits of your product. And also reference those buttons that we talked about. I remember yesterday when we went through and narrowed down to our 3 biggest buttons that we're going to push our prospect to really drive them over the edge. If your headline can hit all 3 of those at once, you know you're on the right track. But I want to just give you a quick example that hopefully you can kind of follow to create your own. What you're looking at now is a sales letter that we wrote to sell a product in our women's dating advice business, Catch Him and Keep Him. And this is a product called Natural and Lasting Attraction. It's a product that shows a woman how to, meet the man, create that connection with him, make it last. So when we were going through and trying to figure out what the biggest buttons would be for a woman in relates to this particular product, we came up with women want a lasting connection with a guy. They want a connection that's going to last for a long time. They want it to something that's beyond physical, because everyone knows that it's easy to get a man attracted to a hot woman physically, but when it comes to emotional commitment, it's a different story. We also figured out that a woman wants a guy to want her and only her. And, these things are all pretty obvious, but, that's very important. That is what women want, so we try to wrap them all up in this headline. So you can see how we hit all 3 buttons at once and kind of put it together. And so we start off, could it really be this easy to create a lasting connection with a man that goes far beyond physical attraction, sparks a deep emotional bond inside him to where he feels literally addicted to being with you and only you forever? So you can see how we've hit a lot of different things in there. This headline did really well for us. First of all, we talk about how it's easy to build a lasting connection with a man. Then we mentioned the lasting connection, how it goes far beyond physical attraction. That's another big button. Next button, it sparks a deep emotional bond inside of him to where he feels addicted to being with the woman, addicted to being with you and only you forever. So it talks about that lasting connection too. So you can see how we hit a lot of those different buttons in here. And it converted really well because it grabs their attention right away. It goes right to the heart of a woman's problems that she's having in this particular area of her life. And then when it comes to the subhead, which is what we're going to talk about next, you can see that we kind of reaffirm everything and talk about how, yes, it is possible, and lead into the sales letter. So that's the next step. That's number 2 is your subhead. And while we have this example in front of us, I want to go off on a little bit of a tangent here and give you guys a formula that we discovered that we use for this headline, and I think it's applicable to a lot of different markets and works really well. And that formula is when you ask a question about something using these buttons and then tell them that, ask a question that hits on a frustration that they're having, and then in the subhead you tell them the answer is yes. So in this one you say, could it really be this easy to create a lasting connection with a man? The answer is yes. If we're talking about a golf product, the formula would kind of be, could it really be this simple to cut 10 strokes off your game and beat all your friends on a golf course within just 3 weeks of learning these tips and strategies? The answer is yes. Another example would be, say, in the internet marketing world. Could it really be this easy to attract 1 million visitors to a website in 1 week and turn those visitors into cash without having any previous internet marketing experience at all? The answer is yes. I love this formula. I think it is really powerful and it works in a lot of different markets because it kind of takes the exact thought that the prospect is thinking and affirms that, yes, that dream that you have could happen, and we're going to show you how. So if you see, as we go on the subhead, after it says the answer is yes, it goes on to say, and if you want to eliminate all of the insecurity that can come from losing the guy you really want, start experiencing the love, attention, and respect you deserve from a man, regardless of his emotional hang-ups, and this will be the most important letter you'll ever read. Now, I think you could take this exact headline and subhead and basically just tailor it to any market just by plugging things in there. So if we're going to tailor the subhead to the golf market, say the answer is yes. And if you want to really shave these strokes out your game and beat the pants out of everyone at the country club without having to practice day and night and without having the natural skill of Tiger Woods, this will be the most important letter you ever read. So go ahead and test out this headline and subhead formula in your market. Kind of plug the pieces in using those buttons that we came up with yesterday about the things that are going to really resonate, strike a chord with your prospect, and plug them in this formula and see how it works. I think it will work well for you. That URL is www.catchhimandkeephim.com/N as in Nancy, A as in Apple, L as in Los Angeles, A as in Apple. So /NALA. You guys can check out that headline and swipe that formula for yourselves and use it with your product. We already talked about the subhead and how you, if we transition better. So next up, we're going to talk about, we're going to ask some questions that show that we understand the prospect, push their button. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to turn up the pain. So if you guys remember when we listed those fears and then we talked about the frustrations, start off the letter, I found something that works really well is to ask them about these fears and frustrations that they're having. Asking them about them shows that you understand where they're at, and it also gives them hope that you can solve them. So we hit them with the headline of the subhead that gives that promise. And then we just start off by getting right into these questions that push those buttons, remind them of those frustrations, fears that they're having. So it starts off very simple. Dear friend, I have some important questions for you. Think carefully as you answer. Have you ever had a man you were interested in, maybe even someone you really cared about, all of a sudden become distant, withdrawn, just couldn't figure out why? So that's the first question. Can you see what we're doing there? Pressing on those fears and frustrations, reminding them of something that's, this has happened to every woman. Someone they really cared about became distant and withdrawn. It just happens in all relationships. So, if you strike a chord with any woman who's reading this letter, she's going to say, nodding her head. And that's what you want them to do is they're reading through these questions. You want your prospect to be reading through, nodding their head and saying, yeah, I've had that happen. I've been there. So, next question, we're going to press a different button. We're going to talk about a different fear or frustration. Can you remember a time when you began to develop strong feelings for a man and knew you wanted to be with him and only him, but he seemed ambivalent and wishy-washy about the situation, and it drove you nuts? That's another thing that every woman can relate to, especially if they're reading this page and they're looking for relationship advice. It might very be because the guy seems wishy-washy about making a commitment. So onward, here we're going to press, kind of a similar button, but a twist to it. Have you ever dated a man who was afraid to commit to you, and even he didn't really know why? And that's a frustration all women have had. So, once again, we're just going down the line. So to create these questions for yourself, pull out that list of fears and that list of frustrations that you made, and maybe take put a star next to the ones that you feel are very universal, that the majority of the people that are reading your sales letter will have experienced, and the ones that are going to hit home the hardest. and turn them into questions like this. Go ahead and ask them and remind them of the fears and frustrations that they're having in this area, showing that you understand and kind of getting them back into that place in their mind that brought them to your page in the first place, where they're in that state of worry and feeling that pain and that urgency to do something about it. That's what these questions are all about. So, go ahead and read through these on your own time, and also check out the ones in that deep inner game letter for some more examples, and go and see how you can come up with your own. To give you guys a couple examples from, we'll stick with the golf and the marketing world as we're talking about. Maybe your frustration would be, are you tired of, going out on the golf course and being the finishing last out of your group of friends? Or, maybe that's not the most powerful example, but you see what I mean. In the marketing world, are you tired of putting up websites and, doing all the right things that are supposed to get you traffic and then finding that no one visits your site? Are you tired of, if we're talking about writing a sales letter, for instance, are you tired of putting sales letters up that seem great to you, but no one actually buys anything when they read them? That could be a great little pain point for a copywriting product. So let's move on to the next step. But create some of those questions for yourself. Stick them right at the top of your letter to get that person in the moment. All right, so next up, you're going to want to come up with a powerful analogy or a story that captivates your prospect and kind of lets them know where you came from, how you relate, how you help them. And this is the spot where you tell your story of, how you were struggling with whatever it was, eventually figure out the solution, or, a metaphor works great as well. Something that we came up with that I think also could be applicable to any market was telling a story about how we came up with a solution or a trick for solving some type of problem. And then the example that we gave was talking about the carnival game in the circus. I mentioned, how you go to the carnival game and people are lining up, throwing money like crazy and, never being able to knock the pins over or whatever. But then the carny steps up and can do it every single time. When you know the secret, it's easy to do. You just got to know what it is, something like that. So, you want to tell your story, wrap them in, and get personal here. Talk about all the nitty-gritty details of where you were before you found out whatever this solution or miracle cure was, and what drove you to that point. Talk about some of these fears and frustrations again. So, if we're talking about a meeting women product or a meeting men, the most basic example would be, I used to struggle when I'd go out, I'd see an attractive woman, and I'd freeze up. I wouldn't know what to say to her. And then, just when I get up the courage, I'd see some other guy come and take her away. Or, I was always so nice to women, buying them gifts and taking them out to dinner, and they'd go back to their jerk ex-boyfriends. And, I just got fed up and decided to do something about it, and that's when I discovered these secrets. So, tell the story like that, get personal, get in there, and have it hit on more of those fears, frustrations, and build a connection with them that shows you get it, you've been there, and you have the solution. So next up, you want to tell your prospect that there is hope and that it's not their fault. And this is a short section. Sometimes I will simply say in a letter, the good news is there is hope, and it's not your fault. And then I'll go on to the next section and start selling them the product. I mean, it's that simple. But it's basically just a turning point in your letter where you go from, talking about your story and the fears and frustrations you were having and all the problems and pain, and then how it doesn't have to be that way. That's another great line. It doesn't have to be that way for you. So this is just a little thing where you're going to switch it up and bring you to the next section. This is more of a bridge than anything else to bring you to the place where you give away content. So using that example from the meeting women market, talk about a guy who was struggling to meet women, always got frustrated because his friends always got the girls. But, now there is hope. And to go into the giving away content section, if you guys remember yesterday, that you guys come up with some great tips and ideas that you could give someone in your market they could use instantly to improve their situation. So this is where you want to list them. So if we were using the eating women example, you could say, you know, I was struggling, but then I found this solution. And I discovered there's 5 big mistakes that guys are making with women without even knowing it. Here's what they are. And that's where you list the 5 things. They say, I discovered that, you know, 3 new things that I do now when I go out to the mall to meet attractive women. And here's what they are. Start doing these things yourself. So this is where you give them 3 tips or 5 tips or give away that juicy content. We're doing this a little bit early in the letter because we want to show them that we know what we're talking about. This builds credibility and get them psyched up because now they're learning right now. They're learning how these some quick fixes for the product, and once they get a little taste of what you have to offer, they're naturally going to want more. So this is where you put that content. Next up, proof, the most important part of any sales letter. This is where you want to talk about why they should listen to you. Talk about, you know, reaffirm the story about how, you know, you came from nowhere to figure this out. This is where you want to list some scientific facts about your product. If you're selling, you know, maybe a nutritional supplement, you want to list all the ingredients and what each one does. If you're selling something in the dating market, you talk about how it's worked for a lot of people in the past and how it's different than everything else out there, and, you know, dig deep into it. I guess we could talk about proof for a while, but the bottom line is you need to let them know that you are a credible source. They should listen to you, and this is where you list the reasons why. Next up, what it is and what's in it. This is the section where you actually start selling a little bit. Just gave away some great content. Just told them why they should listen to you. And now we're going to talk about what we have for them. So the section where you talk about the benefits that your product is going to give to them and what it's about. And I like to talk about how the product came about in this section as well, a little bit. So, you know, let's say you're selling the nutritional supplement. You'd say, you know, you just told a story, you just gave them some tips, and you'd say, you know, so I decided to do my own research. I met with scientists across the country, and we developed this revolutionary formula, and it's designed to do this, this, and this, listing those benefits that your product has. You guys remember those lists we made yesterday? This is where you put them. Put all the benefits that your product will give them, and hit on it hard. We've sold a lot of dating programs, obviously, as you guys know. And what I like to do here is, you know, I'll kind of talk about how, you know, I got this idea. So I decided to put a program together. I went to New York City, and for 3 days, 3 10-hour days, I you know, shared my secrets live on stage in front of the cameras, ordered it all for you. And this program is designed to help any man improve his confidence with women, learn how to date women that are more attractive than he's used to, learn how to fend off competition from other men. You know, by the time he finishes this course, he'll have a complete education in X, Y, Z. Talk about that stuff. You know, go ahead, brag, boast. Talk about how great your product is. Talk about everything it's going to do for them in this section. It's really important, and this is your time to shine, so to speak. Let me see. Actually, let's pull up an example of this section. It is an important one, and I want to make sure. I don't know if I'm explaining it as clearly as I could, so okay, so in this natural and lasting attraction letter, go through this, you know, on your own. But you can see right here we're giving some content. Here's that content section that we talked about. We're talking about a secret reason a man will never tell you about why he didn't want you. And here we say, here's 5 things that a woman needs to understand in order to attract and keep a great man. So we list them out. How attraction works for men, things that destroy attraction, understanding how to read and respond to a man's emotional world, etc. And actually check this out on your own too for a good example of how to do one of these content sections. There's one in the deep inner game letter as well. Then let's go to what we're speaking about next. All right, so the what it is, what's in it section. Here we go. So we've just given them those great tips. And now if you go down to right here, after several research and conversations with men, women, dating experts, scientists, and everything else in between, I'm pleased to say I've finally figured it out. Now I want to share these discoveries with you. Ready to take control of your love life, et cetera, et cetera. And you can see goes on to say, just put the finishing touches on this program. Here's the name of it. Filmed it in Los Angeles. It'll blow your mind. And then we get into what's in it. I'm going to take you behind the scenes. You're going to learn profound concepts that's taken me years to discover. It's all in a simple language. You're going to learn strategies of deep emotional connection, communication. We're going to focus on skills of building attraction and setting the foundation for long-term attraction. And we talk about some of the reasons why. I've come up with a lot of new strategies since I wrote my last book. This is going to tell you about the insights and the things a man doesn't say, but does think and feel about dating one woman exclusively and not another. So you can see how we're just, unabashedly telling them what's so great about this product, what it's going to do for them, what's in it. This is that section. So, read through this a couple times on your own and check it out. I think you'll get some good ideas here from it. All right. Next section is the bullets. Bullets are one of my favorite parts of it. Let's talk about what bullets are. Let's go back to that natural lasting attraction letter real quick. There we go. So the bullets are, they're kind of like teasers that hint at the strategies that they're going to learn in your product and how great they are, but they don't actually tell them. So, this is to kind of get their mouth salivating and get them excited about what they're going to learn, the specific things they're going to learn inside of your product or by getting your service, but without actually telling them. So it's kind of like we're teasing them. So let's take this first bullet and how you lead into it. Here are a few more of the exciting things you're going to learn in this program. That's a pretty standard intro. First bullet, a proven step-by-step plan to get out of the dating game into the arms of the right man for you the fastest amount of time humanly possible. So this hints that we're going to give them a step-by-step plan that they can follow that's going to make this happen for them. We don't give them the plan, but we're hinting that it's in this program that you can see how we're going to teach. Next bullet. Have you ever tried to communicate something that was very important to you to your man, and it seems like he just couldn't hear you or wouldn't? In this program, you'll learn exactly what's going on in a guy's mind and how to communicate with him in a way that gets him to actually listen to you, understand you, take heart to what you have to say. So you can see there's a lot of benefits here, but basically it tells them that in the program, you're going to learn what's going on in that guy's head of yours. You're going to learn how to talk to him and get him to listen to you and understand you. Doesn't tell the woman how. She's got to try the program to find out, but it hints at it. Let me find one that's a little bit more specific here. Okay, this is a great one. Great example. A deadly mistake even confident, experienced women make that they think will make a man like them more, but actually drives a man away because it makes you look clingy. Now we're talking about a very specific thing. This is one of my favorite things to do with the bullets. We're talking about a mistake here. One thing. It's it doesn't sound like it's going to take a long time to learn, unlike some of those step-by-step plans we were talking about and communication systems. This is just one thing they can learn really quick. One mistake that even confident, experienced women are making that's driving men away. And it's kind of, they can tell that this program is going to have some of those quick fix elements in there too. So make sure into these specifics. And to talk a little bit about how to create these bullets, First of all, actually, when I set out to write a sales letter, I like to write the bullets first because it gives me a good idea of what's in the product. Especially if I'm writing it for a product that I haven't personally created. I'll grab the author's book and I'll dig through it and I'll find out those little nuggets of wisdom and write them all out in this bullet teaser form. And it kind of gives me a better idea of what's in the whole product and how to use it. So go through your product and look at all the techniques that are in there that you're giving away, and probably write a bullet for each technique that's in there. And then you can write more general bullets for the whole thing. Like let's say you're talking about how to improve someone's golf game. I'm sure your product has tips for shooting monster drives, nailing putts, psychological things. So then your more general bullet would be a step-by-step plan to shave X amount of strikes off your golf game, guaranteed, that you can learn in 30 minutes, something like that. So make sure you hit some of these general ones and some of these more specific bullets. On another note, I like to always, after I'm finished writing my bullets, I'll take the best ones and I'll put them towards the top. So, things that will appeal the most. So go through, find out the things that you find to be the most powerful, most captivating, and put those on the top. And thinking about those questions that we wrote at the beginning of the sales letter, where you're asking them questions that bring them back in the moment, you want to put the most important and hardest questions at the top two, the ones that press their buttons the most. So let's talk a little bit about how to write these bullets, because there's a lot going on behind the scenes. And I think this is one of the things that really separates great copy from good copy, is how these bullets are done. And if you can write these in a way that it really makes someone want to grab onto your product. And I tell you, it's funny. We get a lot of people saying that they've bought products from us because of one single bullet, because there was just one thing they had to know. Maybe an example of that with that catch them and keep them letter we just looked at. Maybe a woman would just have to know that mistake that women make without thinking about it that drives men away. And we've had people actually write us back afterwards and be like, hey, I bought it just for this one bullet. I want to know what this thing is, and I can't find it in the program. What's the exact page, or where is it exactly in the DVD? So, when you get letters like that, you're doing something right. So let's talk about how to write bullets like that captivate and drive your prospect crazy with curiosity. Now, the key here is what is called putting the benefit within the benefit. And I got this from John Carlton. And what it really means is that just mention the benefit, but you spell out how it's going to benefit them. So, for instance, how to approach women. That is a benefit. Now, to put a benefit in that benefit, how to approach a woman in a way that makes her see you as an attractive, sexy man. So it's not just how to approach a woman. This is a way to approach her in a way that makes her see you as an attractive, sexy man. That's the benefit within the benefit. That's how you spell it out to them. Now, the next step to making these bullets amazing, add more benefits. I like to stack in as many benefits as I can in here. 2 to 3 per bullet at least. Some of my bullets have some super, 4, 5, 6 benefits. We'll get to it in a second. So let's talk about how to make that better. And how to approach women. Next step. How to approach a woman in a way that makes her see you as an attractive, sexy man. Next benefit we want to add is how to approach a woman in a way that makes her see you as an attractive, sexy man. She must get to know. You're adding in another benefit. She wants to get to know you. And then you can just keep on adding these things in. So a couple other benefits that we can put in are simplicity and usability. So to improve on that, we're going to say a simple, works every time way to approach a woman that makes her see you as an attractive, sexy man she must get to know. Now, look how far we've gone here. We were talking about the first thing that we said, this is what like a novice writer would write. What are you going to learn in this product? How to approach a woman. But a strong writer will put a simple, works every time way to approach a woman that makes her see you as an attractive, sexy man she must get to know. Now, I think I just made this bullet up when I was writing this example, but I kind of want to know what that is just reading it, because it sounds pretty tasty. It sounds like something people could use. So talk about the next step now. As I mentioned, you can keep adding these things in there and getting people really, really excited. So here's the next evolution. A simple, works-every-time way to approach a woman that makes her not only see you as an attractive, sexy man she must get to know, but actually gets her turned on as she's talking to you. The best part about this is that you can learn it in 30 seconds, and it works especially well on those smoking hot, snooty women who usually don't give any man the time of day. I mean, look at how many benefits are in this thing. This will just drive someone crazy. So first of all, you see that it's simple. It works every time. It's a way to approach a woman, gets her to see you as a sexy, attractive man that she must get to know, and it actually gets her turned on as she's talking to you. You can learn it in 30 seconds, and it works especially well on smoking hot, snooty women who usually don't give any man the time of day. Now, I don't think anything gets more juicier than that. So, that's a good example of how to write like a little longer bullet. And I like to mix it up, so I'll throw in some short ones, long ones to add variety and give a good flow to the letter. Let's use a golf example and I'll just freestyle one right here and see what I come up with. How to improve your drive, right, to be a benefit. So the next evolution might be a way to improve your drives that you can learn in 3 minutes, right? Makes it easy. Next evolution might be a way to improve your drives that you can learn in 3 minutes and will add 20 yards or more to your drives. Now that's another benefit in there. Next one. A way to improve your drive that you can learn in 3 minutes that will add 20 yards or more to even the worst golfer's game. And, okay, I just tongue-tied myself. I'm sorry. I'm just going totally off the top of my head here. But you can see how you can keep packing on those benefits for anything, any market, any technique, and just make it sound, super juicy and appealing to your prospect. So, try this out for yourself and come up with something in your market. Grab just one of your techniques that someone would learn in your book. Grab your favorite technique and see if you can come up with a way to tell someone about it without telling them what it is. Just tell them how great it is, everything about it. Get them eagerly awaiting and curious to find out what it is. So let's go onward. Where to come up with these benefits. This is where you think of what the prospect really wants, and then you can just kind of add them on each bullet. So, for example, in the men's dating advice market, here's a few things that men want. They want women to be turned on by them. They want women to feel comfortable around them. They want women to pick them over other men. They want women to be more interested in talking to them more. They're interested in talking to them more, not just hi, bye, or giving them or rejecting them. Guys want things that's easy to learn. Everyone wants stuff that's easy to learn. You can grab these benefits and put them, with your product, no matter what it is. People want tricks. They want things that work every time on all women. So if you're in internet marketing, this will work on any website that you have in any market. If you're talking about golf, this works for any golfer, no matter what your skill level, as soon as you suck. People want to always improve on what they're already doing. So this will, you talk to the guy, this will give you the ability to get smoking hot chicks. Oh, and one of the questions that came in yesterday I didn't have a chance to answer, unfortunately, answer now. Someone said, if you're talking to a prospect in a market that uses a lot of lingo and slang, do you want to use it? And the answer is absolutely. I want to speak to the guys exactly the way they talk. So, if I'm Like for instance, when I was writing some letters to sell poker instructional courses, I hadn't played poker before in my life, so I read up and learned all the terminology. I read some glossaries, and I threw that stuff in there. And then I had my buddy, who was a seasoned poker player, read it over, and he was like, "Dude, you're using this term wrong. This sounds good, but you should say this instead." So you definitely want to, incorporate slang terminology that your prospect is familiar with into your letter. So back to the bullets. Make a list of things that your prospect wants. These would be kind of like the gains that we talked about yesterday, what they will gain from your product. And make a list and use them in your bullets. So next, who needs it and who doesn't? So yesterday, we made a list of who your product is for, who needs your product, and we made another list of who doesn't need your product. So I like to create a section like this and just actually, we'll just list it out. Let me show you an example from that Deep Inner Game letter. How can you know if this program is for you? This is a section that I think should be in every sales letter. This is where we're going to use that stuff we wrote yesterday about who your product is for and who it isn't. So first of all, in this example, I talked about who it wasn't for first. So how can you know if this program is for you? If you have the type of, and remember this, we're back in the men's dating advice market. Right now we're talking about how to attract women. So if you have the type of women that are your type chasing you around and becoming addicted to you, you might not need it. If you don't have any, excuse me, if you don't have any anxiety, lack of self-esteem, or fear of women, and you've never hit a dry spell, it might not be for you. If you don't have any problems when you are in the moment, you always do the right thing when it counts, especially with the women you're really interested in, you probably don't need this program. Now, who did we just mention? We just talked about maybe 1% of all guys, right? So, actually the sneaky thing we're doing here is we're not, while we're talking about who doesn't need it, we're actually kind of telling the guys that you need this and you know it. So keep that in mind. This is where you talk about, in this example, we're kind of describing like a guy like Brad Pitt here who doesn't need this. If we're in the golf market, we're going to talk about Tiger Woods here. If you were raised with a golf club in your hand and you're winning PGA titles left and right, you don't need this course. So get a little extreme. But I mean, maybe that's a too big of an example. You want to kind of be believable. So in the golf market, I'd probably say something more along the lines of, if you find that you're improving your game every time you go out right now, and you're already beating all your friends, and you're seeing consistent progress, and you're hitting under 80 consistently, you probably don't need this program. However, okay, so let's go onward here. On the other hand, there are certain chronic problems men have that don't ever just go away. And this is something I love to put. I love to put that these problems don't go away, and you might have them. So, onward. Read through the list below, and if you find that you've experienced any one of these problems, I highly recommend you grab this program now. However, if while reading through this list you realize that you've experienced more than one of these chronic diseases that are almost impossible to shake, you need to get this program immediately. You see what we're doing there? We're talking about, how this program will help you if you have any one of these problems. But if you have more than one, and the idea is every guy that reads this is going to have experienced more than one of these things, then you need to grab this program immediately because it's not going to fix itself. So let's read a few examples here. If you've ever been in a situation with a woman and known exactly what to do, but in the moment, your emotions took over and you screwed it up. I mean, any guy can relate to that, being at that moment when you're supposed to kiss her and you mess up, or you're supposed to say this and you don't. Next one. If you feel that you've run out of lines and techniques, you'll have no way to attract a woman. If you thought being with a woman was the answer to your problems, but once you're with one, you still have problems. You ever felt that if you found a great woman, all of your problems would be solved, secretly worry that those very same problems are what is preventing you from finding a woman in the first place? Next up. You ever learned an awesome line or technique, but for some reason it didn't work for you? So anyway, we're just listing these things. We're listing, what kind of guys need this program. So grab that list that you made yesterday, plug it right in here, slap on the headline that says, how can you know if this program is for you? Talk about who it's not for, and then talk about who it's for. This is a very powerful section. And you notice kind of towards the end of the letter when we're just wrapping it up and ready to go for the tail header. What makes your product different? This is a section of the letter where you just want to list what makes your product different from everything else out there. And, you can just go rapid fire. Think about all the other products in the market. Think about all your competitors and make a list of the things that are different about yours and list them. It's sections easy to write. I would make this the subhead, what makes this product different from everything else out there, and then I would list the reasons and talk about them. And, we're getting low on time, so I'm not going to go through too many examples here, but check out that Deep Inner Game letter. There's a great section in there about why this product is different from not only any dating product, but any self-help product that's ever been out, released. Check out that section when you get a chance. Next up is a wrap-up. This section is simple. Starts off, here's what you're going to get. Then you tell them what comes with it. You get a book, you get some CDs, you get some bonus books, you get this, that, and this. Sum it all up, put it all in one section so they can see the massive amount of value that they're getting all together. And you can find examples of this in both of those letters. Well, here's where you're going to get. Show them, here's where you put the pictures of your product and describe it. 15 hours of digitally recorded material, 7 DVDs, 2 workbook, binder, bonus. Bonuses are good. Figure out some bonuses you can throw in there, pile them on. Some people buy a product just to get the bonuses. It happen a lot. So try to come up with some juicy ones. Next section. Price. Here's where you hit them with the dollar amount. And when you give them a price, you want to give them a comparison and let them know that yours is a bargain, even if it sounds expensive. You can talk about things like how much it would cost to get an hour of coaching with you. How much someone would pay to, if you're talking about marketing or something like that. Talk about, how you can go spend $1,000 or $100,000 on a college education. Never learn this stuff. Talk about, how if you're in the internet marketing world, you could spend thousands of dollars testing your websites easily and never make a penny. But this course will save you that 10 times over. Every great converting sales letter has a way where they spell out the price in a way that makes it sound inexpensive and worth it. So go find some sales letters that work well, some people you know and trust that have made good money. Check out their sections where they mention the price and get some ideas, because you've got to do it right. And there's a ton of examples out there for you to steal from. So go and do it. That's why they call it copywriting. You're copying everyone else's good stuff. All right, so here we go. Next up is your guarantee. Guarantee you want to show them just how much you stand behind your product. We like to do a 30-day trial. You might find that 7-day free trial your sales, or I've seen double your money back guarantees. If you buy this product and you're not happy with it, send it back. I'll give you not only I'll give you a refund, I'll give you an extra $100 on top of it. Talk about how confident you are with the product with that. So check out those letters I just talked about for example of that guarantee. And of course, other letters. Every great sales letter has a great guarantee. Next up, the close. All right, do you guys remember where we talked about what your prospect's dream is, the irrational stuff, and what the nightmare is, what can happen if they don't go for the product? This is where you want to talk about that. So, you could talk about something like, hey, you have a choice. You can continue struggling with your golf game for years and never get better no matter what you do, and, keep getting made fun of by your friends and laughed off the course. Or you could be the one that goes out there and smokes everybody by, a ton of strokes and have everyone coming up to you and asking you how you did it and asking you for lessons, get the fame and glory when everyone's talking about you at the club. Which one do you want? Choice is yours. It's up to you to make it. This is where you ask for the order. So you spell out what could happen if they don't buy your product, and spell out what could happen if they do. And don't get too crazy. Obviously, if you're selling a product on how to make money, and you're actually promising them they're going to be flying around in private jets, you're not going to believe it. But you could talk about, how they're going to make an extra few grand a month working in their spare time. This famous line network marketing companies use is, hey, do you have a few minutes to talk about, how you can make a little bit of extra money working around your schedule in your spare time? I mean, who wouldn't want to know what that is, right? So, be believable, but definitely talk about the nightmare, and then talk about the dream. Give them that choice. So next step, signature. Simple. This is where you sign off. PS. PS, you want to reaffirm those biggest benefits and buttons that we talked about. This is almost like your headline. You can actually you can use your headline and subhead and kind of combine them together in your PS and remind them of how great your guarantee is and how they have nothing to lose. Next up, your testimonials. We talked yesterday a little bit about how to get some testimonials for your products. In our Double Your Dating letters, put them at the end. I've seen a lot of sales letters where they're right in the middle. I've seen people fill it to start with a testimonial. So test, experiment, find out where they convert best for you, but make sure you get them. The more testimonials, the more believable, the better. I've seen some amazing ways to generate testimonials. One of the best ones I've seen is the contest where, someone's launching a new product, and they say, if you call this number and submit your picture and give a testimonial, you can win one of these new products before it comes out for everyone else, or an hour of coaching, or, whatever. So get some testimonials and put as many as we can in the letter. And that is it for today. So thank you guys for listening in. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Have a great day.